Hello punters and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview. Of course, freshly off the Spring Carnival at Flemington, the Melbourne Cup Carnival. We had a terrific carnival. Obviously, the back end was a little bit disappointing, especially Stakes Day. Oaks Day was just okay, but the first 2 days were terrific. Absolutely blitzed it on Derby Day, had plenty of winners there, plenty of winners of Melbourne Cup. And we look to return back into form here with Sandown Cup and Zipping Classic Day, of course, at Sandown. Massive meeting there. We've got multiple group racing. We've got the Group 3 Eclipse Stakes, which we'll see the very promising type from Godolphin. Charlie Appleby trained, setting sail, going around at the really short price favourite, $2.20. Got the Group 2 Sandown Guineas. It'll be a really interesting addition of that this year for the 3-year-olds. We've got of course, the Zipping Classic over 2,400 metres, Group 2 weight for age race. They've got the Heffernan Stakes weight for age Group 3 race. And then, of course, the listed Sandown Cup is too well to get through in the Group 3 Sandown Stakes. So, terrific meeting at Sandown. Well, in my next video, I'll be looking at the Hunter up at Newcastle. It's not too bad a meeting up there. They've also got the New Zealand Bloodstock Spring Stakes for the 3-year-olds. A nice Group 3 race there. So I'll look forward to getting into that. But of course, this first video, as you would be able to know, it is Sandown. I'm going to be looking at that meeting first and foremost. And I'm just going to get straight into it. At the moment, track conditions good for at Sandown at the moment. The weather's fine. There's a little bit of showers about, but I don't think it'll be too much to affect the conditions. So I think we'll be working with a good 4. But often with Sandown, it can be a little bit easy underfoot. So maybe those horses that generally do like the soft course do like going around at Sandown. So if you have a look at horses that have been performing on soft ground, they do tend to enjoy Sandown. The ones that really like the real firm, hard surfaces don't often go as good at Sandown. Some of them do, but not as many as what maybe perhaps some of the ones that like the soft ground, the bit of rain affected going when they go through Sandown, even on a good 4 track. But the first race of the card, 1,000 metre 2-year-old race, looking at the speed map in this one, obviously a little bit difficult. There's only a couple of them that are, I guess, gone around races before. A couple of those are Divine Capri and Hard Rock Girl. They've shown a bit of speed in their races to date. Tagaloa and River Twine have gone back in the field, as has Glen Fittich, will be probably around midfield. So we've got to have a look at some of the jump outs and trial for some of this extra speed in the race. And for me, I was quite impressed with this Anthony Freeman horse in the Godolphin colours, the Godolphin blue. They've got a great hand on the day, and I think they'll get off to a good start. This horse was pretty good in a Cranbourne trial. It was 5 lengths off a horse called Celestial Soul on that occasion. That was on a heavy track. I think this horse will appreciate coming back onto the good surface. It did run okay there. It was a decent enough trial. This horse is a 2-year-old colt out of Street Boss, and it's had a decent amount of market support as well. So I am really interested in that. And I think as long as obviously it's a bit of a guessing game with the speed map. This course Handsetic has drawn wide, so it's going to have to really possibly do some work to get across. But if it can get into a decent enough position, I think it'll be a good chance to win. The horse that won that trial, number 1, Celestial Soul, I think I've got to put it for second. I think that's the trial to come out. Showed a lot of speed in that. It should be up on the pace, I would say, this horse, and give them something to run down. So I'm going to put it in for second. And for third, number 6, Tagaloa, I think of the Race Brigade. This horse got great chances. Made some very good ground late behind Hard Landing at Flemington last start. Of course, that was a married bit on plate. Decent enough form reference to bring into this, so I'm going to give it a good chance in for third. And then in for fourth, number 7, Away Game for Kieran Maher and Dave Eustace. I think this horse got a bit of a chance as well. 2-year-old filly out of Snitzel. The blinkers are on, so real interesting, I guess, gear choice there. So I think it could be a good enough chance to run a good race. But as I said, it's a real bit of an open sort of affair. I want to go off that trial form and a bit of market support. And that's number 3, Handsetic, who was at much of 950 and was backed right in I think it was even when it was 350, it's come back out to 390. So I reckon we might get a bit of a better price. So just hang on, because I think a lot of people will try in to number 1, Celestial Soul, because it did beat it quite well in the trials. I think the Handsetic, based off what I saw from that trial, I think Handsetic's got more to give, especially over the 1,000 metres and back on a good track. But Celestial Soul is definitely good value if I'm going to be taking my pick on top at the $6.50, number 1, Celestial Soul in the second. In the third, number 6, Tagaloa, and in the fourth, number 7, Away Game. Move on to race number 2. It's a 3,200 metre listed Sandown Cup. Only a short field this one. There's only 8 runners in the field, but there's a decent enough edition of it. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say Etta James and Hackey will definitely go out, and they'll lead this field all the way. and it's just a matter of if they can get run down. Look, it's very hard to actually, I guess, pinpoint, so nitpick through this field because there's a few different form lines. There's some that have been in some very tough races that haven't run too well. There's been others that have, I guess, been in weaker races and run okay or just run below par. So really interesting to try and, I guess, digress this field and have a good look through it. But from what I've seen, from the form that's right in front of me, number 4 or 0 has got to be picked for me for Kieran, Dave Eustace and 8 OTI. It was a really good run behind Downdraft last time out. It made some good ground from midfield. Obviously, Downdraft smacked him on that occasion, but I think that was decent enough form. Prior to that, it was 2.7 lengths behind Hush Rider at Randwick, and then prior to that, it was 4 lengths off Surprise Baby. So it really has been around the mark, this horse. So I think it has the best form of these, and I think at $3.09, I'm happy to take that. It's had 2 starts at the track before for 2 wins. It's had 3 starts at this distance range for 2 wins and a placing, so it can definitely run out this distance range. And I mean, of 2 of those wins were last preparation. It beat Dukan at Rose Hill, and then it also went and won at Eagle Farm, beating Social Element, smashing that field that day. So it's been out this trip a couple of times now and has performed well. So I'm going to go with that here. So number 4, Azura on top ahead of number 2, Hacky here for me. Hacky was probably a little bit disappointing last time out in that downdraft race. Is on speed, just wasn't able to keep going. They did run quite fast in that race, so I do give a bit of consideration to that. Prior to that was really good. It was only just beaten by Prince of Aaron in the Geelong Cup. That's some pretty good form. We saw what Prince Aaron did in the Melbourne Cup, so I think that's decent enough form. If we return to that, it'll be well within a chance here at the $3.70, and it gets probably a bit more to dictate in this race. There's only Etta James, probably the only other leader that I can see, so I think this horse will get its own way up front, and maybe it might be able to turn the tails. Number 1, Sound, I think it's short enough. It's got the right form. It was pretty good chasing home in the Melbourne Cup. It really did make a lot of ground late. It was only finished 4 lengths off Found and Clear there, so I think that was a pretty good effort backing up into this. This horse just hasn't really produced its best form for a while here. So I'm just going to... It's hard for me to take $2.90 about a horse that really has not quite been around the winning mark or the placing. So I'm going to have it in for 3rd. And in for 4th, number 5, Wall of Fire for Kieran, Dave Eustace, Craig Williams in the saddle, looking to take out another cup. He obviously got the Melbourne, the Singapore Cup during the week, now the Sandown Cup. This horse comes out of that downdraft race as well. Was never able to make ground from the back. Prior to that, it was pretty good in a Group 2 race. That was the Herbert Power behind the Chosen One at 100 to 1 on that occasion. 3,200 metres. Bit of interest here. Hasn't really run this since it ran behind Rekindling in the Melbourne Cup a few years back. So this horse, a bit of a question mark on the distance, but maybe, I think it can run a good race regardless. So for me, look, I think the top 4 of the mark are the ones to beat. Number 4 is 0 on top for me. Then have number 2, Hacky in for 2nd. In for 3rd, number 1, Sound. And in for 4th, number 5, Wall of Fire. Moving on to race number 3. It's the race number 3, Twilight Glow Stakes for the 3-year-old fillies over 1,400 metres. Look at the speed map this race. It'd say Zilong and Sophia's Choice will lead the field. Oasis Girl probably won't be too far behind them. And Zuhei has shown a little bit of speed, but it's also gotten back in the field, so a bit of a guessing game from that barrier number 2. Look, for me, I'm actually quite keen to play number 2, Zilong here. I think it's one of the better bets of the card. I think it'll be extremely hard to beat. It'll be bowling along, not a lot of tempo in the race. Last time out, it was only just overcome by Akari late. I think that's good enough form to bring into this. Prior to that, it won really well at Morpeth Villa. Beat Gardner, who of course came out during the Melbourne Cup Carnival, won up the straight, so the form's good there. And it absolutely smashed Gardner on that occasion. Beat by 5 lengths. Beat Little Contra. She's quite a handy horse as well. So this horse, I think, will be right in the finish. $2.70, I think, is a great price. Most bookmakers obviously giving that bonus bet back for races 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 or whatever it is for 2nd or 3rd. I think you could take that with this horse. I think it'll be really hard to beat. So head of number 4, Polarian, who has got barrier 1. So I'd like to see Craig Williams not get too far back on this horse, but it was really good winning on the Kensington track last time out, beating To Your Health. Prior to that was beaten by Nick Point, who went round as a very short favourite. It was on Oakstar, I think it was. And it was beaten on that occasion, but the fact that it was so well back just shows the ratings out Newcastle race were quite good. Prior to that, obviously got its maiden out of the way at Newcastle. This horse around the market, I think $4 from inside barrier. Not really willing to put it on top. In for second, number 3, Sophia's Choice. She's been right around the mark and she's been very competitive in some decent enough races. So I think she's got a good chance here. She was only just beaten by Banquo last time, who goes around as a bit of a fancy chance later on in the card in one of the better races. So I think this horse got a very good chance, and beat Living the Dream 2 starts prior since come out run well. So I think that's good enough form. And number 8, Zahaya, is massively over the odds at $23. I mean, she's got some ability. She's still trying to figure it out, but she has got the job done twice now. So you've got to respect that. And I think she has shown she's got a lot of ability. If she can put it together here, gets that time to wind up in the straight of Sandown on the hillside track, she might come right into it. I think $23 is massive overs. So I'm going to have number 2, Zeelong on top for me, one of the hardest to beat of the day. Number 4, Pelurian in for second, in for third, sorry. Just trying to get my numbers out. Number 3, Sophia's Choice, and in for fourth, number 8, Zuhaya. Moving on to race number 4. It's the first of the group races of the day, 1500 metre Ladbroke Sandown Stakes. Look at the speed map in this one. I'd say that Music Bay, Goldfields and Travie, my friend, will be the leaders of the race, though. I think they'll take it up and give them something to chase down. Look, I think for me, it's a tough one, this race. It is very hard. Look, I'm going to go with number 1, Widgie Turf, but I think he's sure enough now. He's really proving hard to follow. He was he ran a great race behind Iconoclasm last time out with the 61 kilos. Carries 59 on this occasion. He's had 2 wins from 2 at Sandown, which is the big key for me. He's drawn really well. Based off the speed map, I'd say he'd be able to sort of be tucked out the back, but on the outside, be able to pull out and really wind up. Now, one thing I've got to mention, though, we will have to keep an eye on the track because Sandown can sometimes favour the leaders. The hillside track's not as bad. Usually it's the lakeside that is more leader-friendly. This one, the hillside tends to play pretty evenly, but we'll have to wait and see on the day. But Widgie Turf for me is not hard to beat. $2.60 is short enough, but I think it's got a good chance. Ahead of number 3, Manolo Blahnik, who's been around the market. I think could run well here again. I thought it was pretty good last time by Reykjavik at Flemington. That, of course, was in the Cheltenham Stakes. That was on... Well, it was like last weekend, so on the Stakes Day. And prior to that was just beaten 2.5 lengths by the Flying Streets of Avalon, who's been in some good form. Prior to that, beaten half length by Rocks the Castle. So around some handy enough form to beat the $7. I think you could take it and be in with a chance. Number 4, Music Bay, just really maps well in this race. It looks to be sitting just behind the speed. Be hard to beat. It was just beaten by McGeary last time. This horse, again, has won here at the track. 2 wins, 2 starts for a winner and a placing. I think if it can return to that sort of form, saw it finish by Rich Itch, it'll be in with a chance as well. And number 2, Goldfields, he's been flying recently, and I think he's going to have his chance once again. It was obviously very good winning the Sale Cup. He beat a horse called Mandela Effect on that occasion. Has since come out and won. So the form lines are very good there. That horse won the opening race of the card at Stakes Day. Prior to that was beaten by Reserve Street, who's run well enough in the same race that Manolo Blahnik comes out of. Beat Dr. Drill, who subsequent to that was the Cranbourne Cup winner. So the form around Goldfields is quite good, and he still goes around a big price here at the $7. So I think if he is left line out front, he'll be hard to beat again. Look, I've left number 5, William Thomas there. I just don't like Barrow 1. I think it's just going to be drawn. It's going to have to try and get around Widgie Turf, or if it can force its way clear, it's going to have to try and sprint with Widgie Turf. And I think Widgie Turf's got that better sprint, so I'm willing to be with him. Number 6, Trevor, my friend's got a bit of an each-way chance on the speed as well. I think its form's not too bad. It comes out of a Group 2 last time out, the Tab Stakes behind Campbell Pass, where it finished nearly 9 lengths off him. But prior to that, it was only 0.4 length behind Rocks the Castle. So if we're talking about I guess Manolo Blahnik being around Rocks the Castle at $7. Go talk about Trevor, my friend, at the 21s. So a real open race here, very hard. And of course, Vacillator goes around well at the $17. And we've seen on its best form, it could be really competitive in this sort of race. So tough field. But look, I'm going to go number 1, Widgie Turf on top. Just going to go to the class. He's the Group 1 performer and of this field. If he's up to his best, he'll beat them. So I'm going to have him on top. And at number 3, Manolo Blahnik in for second. In for third, number 4, Music Bay, and in for fourth, number 2, Goldfields. Move on to race number 5, and it's the Clanbrook Racing Doveton Stakes over the 1,000 metres listed race. Look at the speed map, and it's a very good field as well. This is almost a group quality race, this one. Looking at a lot of speed, kind of expected for a 1,000 metre race, but I'd say Fartner, Easy Eddie, Ashlaw, you should get forward. Easy Beast will be close enough. Crystal Dreamer will be up there all over Boston Over. Usually likes to get forward. So quite a bit of speed in this race. But again, as it is a bit expected for the 1,000 metres. In this race for me, look, I'm quite keen to be with number 3, Easy Eddie here. I don't necessarily love the draw, but I like it enough for it to be a great chance here. And was only beaten 2.8 lengths by Parada last time out. I think that's the right form to bring into this race. Parada was beaten 2.3 lengths by Deprive. The form of that race has been really good. So I think it's found a suitable race here, Easy Eddie. I think it'd be hard to beat with Mark Zara in the saddle. So I've got him on top. And number 2, Crystal Dreamer, who loves this track, has made 4 starts at the track for 2 wins, 2 placings. It obviously finished by Miss Leonidas last time out in the Caulfield Sprint, the Group 2 race there. Prior to that, it beat Gitra, who, of course, is we consider to be a very, very good horse. So I think this horse third up might be a very good chance here, especially at Sandown, a horse that he loves running at. So I think I've got him a great chance at each way. It's $5. $2 a place, I think ain't too bad. Number 1, Fartner, he's probably a bit over the odds as well, $6.50. He's coming out of the best form. Obviously, he ran in the Manicato Stakes behind Loving Gabby. Form that's pretty good. Prior to that, he was beaten half a length by Nature Strip in the Moya Stakes, and we've seen what Nature Strip did in the Spring Stakes on the weekend. The sprint race. Oh, sorry, I've completely lost my mind. The Sprint Classic, that's it. So that's good form line. Prior to that, it beat Bonds away at Mooney Valley in a Group 2. So he's the class of the field. I'm just a bit curious on where he'll be in the run. He'll definitely be in the top 3, I would say. If they overdo it out front, this horse, number 4, Viridine, will be charging home late. I think he'll really appreciate Sandown and he gets his chance to wind up, get through his gears. He was disappointing last time out, but I'm willing to forgive that. Prior to that, he was really good in the Scalacci behind Trekking. If he can repeat that sort of form, he'll go close here, and the race really looks to run to suit. So for me, going on the top, again, top 4 in the market, they pick themselves for me. Number 3, Easy Eddie on top for me, ahead of number 2, Crystal Dreamer, and for second. In for third, number 1, Fartner, and in for fourth, number 4, Viridine. Moving on to race number 6, it's the Kevin Heffernan Stakes, weight for age Group 3 over 1,300 metres. Look at the speed map for this one. We get to see the exciting Dubai, Charlie Appleby trained Godolphin runner go around in this one. Look, I'd say that Home the Brave and Hey Doc will get out and they'll roll forward. Genedale will use the inside barrier to get prominent. Order Command probably will try and not get too far back from barrier number 2. Odin will be close enough. Lavendi will show a bit of speed. So I think they will run along here and they might suit the back marks. I concede to buy from that outside barrier going back in the field. And if he gets his chance, he'll wind up and he'll power over these. I think his form's really good. He obviously ran 2.5 lengths behind Parada. First up in the Sweps All Age Stakes. That was a Group 1 level race. He was pretty well found in the market that day as well. He's had a 210-day spell since then. But he is a horse that runs well fresh. He obviously won a good race in Dubai. Group 2 race there being Mythical Magic. And he's got some very good form over in France and in the UK. So I think fresh here. He's 6 starts for 2 wins, 3 placings when fresh. So he's really likes being first up. I think he can win this. So just if they bring him back from that gate, he should be able to wind up off the quick speed and really power over the top of him. Number 1, Hey Doc. We know he's got a lot of class. He's a 6-year-old now. Obviously, last time out he went around and was beaten by Fartner. That was over a year ago. And then was beaten by Dothraki. He's had a big spell since, but his recent Tour trial is not too bad. So if he can sharpen his right sort of form, he can go close here. I just thought he was a bit over the odds at $7.50. Number 3, Home of the Brave, in for third. I think he has got his chance here to win his race. He was pretty good last time out. Brian Parada beat 1.7 lengths on that occasion. And then 1.6 lengths behind Deprive, and I mentioned that form lines in a previous race. We'll be able to see a bit out of that. And prior to that, he's only just beaten by Brutal. So the form around Home of the Brave is quite good. I think he's getting close to win. He'll be right in the finish. And number 2, Lavendi's, I think is a bit over the odds here at the $23. It's a horse that really likes running first up. So 3 starts for 2 wins first up. Recent trial was not too bad at Cranbourne. It's just come off a long break, 500, nearly 600 days. But I've been told, Seeker, that he is flying and he's ready to go. He's going to have a big preparation in the autumn. So we'll see how he goes here. Obviously, he's looking for further. 1,300 is probably right at the bottom of his, of his distance. But I think he can run home and be in the top 4. So I'm going to have him in at the $26 here. Sorry, not 23. He's jumped out a little bit. Don't know how that goes for the things. But look, I've left number 7, Order Command, out just because I'm just not sure about the gate. It's going to need a little bit of luck from there. While I could see it was very good last time up the straight at Campbell Passer, he loves running up the straight. And prior to that, he was he was okay behind Haunted, and then prior to that he was just okay behind William Thomas. So just waiting to see his run first, but he could definitely win at the $9.50 as well. So open race, but I'm willing to go number 4 Dubai. I think he's the class runner of the field. He maps perfectly for this race. So I got him on top to beat number 1 Haydock, who's first up off a really long break. But if he can show his right sort of form, $7.50 is a bit of overs. Number 3, Home of the Brave, and for second. And for fourth, number 2, Lavendi, who's got that good fresh up record, but we'll be looking for further. Moving on to race number 7, it's the Sandown Guineas for 600 metres, Group 2 race for the 3-year-olds. Look at the speed map in this one. I'd say Defender and Banquo will go to the top. Conqueror will probably be up and sitting just in behind them as well. Not a whole lot of speed in the race, so it'll be interesting to see how they go along here. Sir Loft showed a bit of speed last time out, so maybe it might press forward and try and get into the speed battle. But based off the map, look, I find Banquo hard to go past here. It's got to carry 57 kilos, which ain't too bad, but it was really good last time out at Flemington. When it was asked to give, it gave. I guess it was eased on the line a little bit, but it was still a pretty dominant, arrogant win. You can't really say too much about it. Prior to that, beating Arone's come out, won its maiden since, so the form's decent enough around this horse. And out of that Flemington run, there's been a couple of decent ones. We'll see how Sophia's Choice goes early in the day. So I think this horse got a good enough chance to just be on speed. That's the sort of factor I want to be with. On speed, hard to run down. So I'm going to have it on top. And number 4, Heart of Pusens, who looks to have a lot of ability. That was a very good win right down the outside behind at Moonee Valley, where it beat Defiant Dancer. And prior to that was pretty good at Warrnambool as well, coming a long way back. So this horse has shown plenty of ability. It's not going to get the exact same sort of speed that's been able to get in its last couple of runs. It has been able to come on from the back. But I do concede he's got a stack of ability to be hard to beat. In for third, number 10, Pretty Brazen, who I thought ran okay last time out behind Akari. Really did charge from a long way back. Prior to that was very good winning at Caulfield, and then at Bendigo prior to that it spanked him. So look, she's flying at the moment. She'll be right in the finish as well. And number 11, Affair to Remember, has been pretty well backed, and I think I could see why. That was a good run last time out behind Nudge. It really came from a long way back. Finished off well there when not a whole lot did on the day. So I think against the pattern, that was a good run. So look, very good race. I've left out Call Me Shameless. I thought it's a bit of each way odds at 26, and number 2, Conqueror's probably got the best form. So, and look, Maps get a perfect run of the race, and maybe the box seat behind, coming out of form behind Dallasan. So I think, look, very tough race, but I'm just going to go with Banquo here for me. I think that what I saw last time out just shows me it's a pretty good horse that's going place. Number 4, Heart of Pusens, again, it's got a lot of upside. That's what I'm sort of putting it in for the upside. In for third, number 10, Pretty Brazen, who's well weighted, as is number 11, Affair to Remember, who's my 4th pick. Moving on into the main race of the card, it's the Zipping Classic Weight for Age Group 2 race over 2,400 metres. Look at the speed map for this one. Ventura, Storms, Chapata, Del Harold, Miss Siska, and Savioke, I'd say, will go back on the field. But so there's a little bit of speed in this race. Really interesting race as well. Quite not the strongest edition we've ever seen, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. A lot of these haven't been winners for a little while now, so that's a lot to take in. And there's a couple that are winners that you could argue on class they wouldn't match up to some of these. So really interesting to see what we take with this one. But look, I'm going to go with number 1, Humidor. He's got to carry the weight, but I'm just certain he's going to win one soon. And I thought he was very good in the McKinnon Stakes by Magic One. He was sort of boxed on from the back, and they just didn't really run on the back in that race. They went quite slow up front. I think coming from 2,000 back out to the 2,400 again, back to the same distance where he ran on Cox Plate Day, and he finished 2.4 lengths behind Hunting Horn. I think that step back over distance will suit him nicely. I think he can run a good enough race here. He gets the big long Sandown straight to wind up. So hopefully, if they make a bit of ground in the race, he'll be able to come over the top of them and win the Zipping Classic. I just think he's due a win. It's been pretty well backed as well, so I'm going to have him on top. And I have number 5, Southern France, who was given a decent enough chance coming into the Cup. He obviously didn't run too well, but he comes in this race instead. I think this will be much better suited to him. If he shows this sort of form he showed in Ireland and England alike, I think he'll go very close here. He's the 2nd pick for me. Number 6, Del Harold, Ben Mellum, and Mar Eustace. I think he's got a great chance. Del Harold, he was pretty well supported in the John Cup. He ran pretty poorly behind Prince of Arran, but prior to that, he was very good behind Surprise Baby. If you can get that sort of form back again, he'll go pretty close here, and the blinkers come off this time round, which is an interesting gear change. And number 3, Gaelic Chieftain, each way odds for me, I think has a decent enough chance. I thought his run was okay last time out at Flemington, and I think he can improve off of that run and run well enough here. So the Zipping Classic, for me, look, I'm going to have number 1, Humidor on top for me, ahead of number 5, Southern France. In for third, number 6, Del Harold, and in for fourth, number 3, Gaelic Chieftain. Moving on to race number 9, we're almost there. The Summon Stakes for the mares, Group 3 race over 1,500 metres. Looking at the speed back for this one, I'd say that Speed Scandal will probably look to lead with Gentico. Victory Kingdom, if it steps well enough, will get forward. Kings Brook will probably sit just in behind them, and Jamaican Rain will probably be up there as well. So interesting race, this one. There's a lot of different form lines coming into this.